r/askreddit, NSFW. People who work in the adult film industry, what is the weirdest, creepiest, nastiest thing you've seen or experienced while working? A friend of mine used to do cam work and had a regular who would pay her upwards of $600 a session to 1. Tie her hair up in pigtails with orange ribbon. 2. Cover the room in orange balloons. 3. Wear orange lingerie. 4. Squeeze oranges over her boobs. Yep. $600. That was a horny Dutchman. Actually had a similar experience as a cam girl. But my bedroom was all white with white cute sheets and bedspread. And this guy really liked that. And he would have bridal lingerie sent to me and I'd have to dress up in it and wear a veil, etc. Just like a taking my virginity on a wedding night kind of thing. It was weird but oddly cool. BC he ended up buying a lot of the cute decor for my bedroom at the time on top of paying $800 for this. It was wild. To whoever that is, I'm available. I'll do any other colors as well. My husband used to work on set of filming. One thing that horrified him was seeing how dirty, messy it'd get. So many times they'd have to stop filming to clean up poop. And since scenes would often take hours, the smell would get awful. Especially during the summertime. Oh god. I was an adult actor in the mid-90s. We were often in the San Fernando Valley, in summer, in an unair-conditioned warehouse. Let's just say it sometimes got ripe. I'm assuming he worked on such classics as Two Girls One Cup. It's only smells. The fug? Why is Dip getting on the set? I was an adult actor in the mid-90s. This wasn't me, but a buddy of mine. He was on a boat for a film shoot. He was also high on mushrooms. The director asked him if he would fug a midget. He didn't want to, so he told the director an absurdly high price. The director met that price. There he was, tripping balls and balls deep in a little person. And somehow, I never found out how, the boat began to sink. They ended up getting rescued by the Coast Guard. I think this may have scarred him. It did make the news, but I tried googling it and came up with nothing. Anything before 2000 seems to be prehistory. Deeper director, probably. Then there he was, tripping balls and balls deep in a little person. And somehow, I never found out how, the boat began to sink. Thread. I had a neighbor who used to be a camera guy for an old production company. He said that when anal sex started making its way into straight videos, nobody knew about cleaning up before a scene. Apparently one actor randomly starts screaming in the middle of a scene, removes himself from the actress, runs over to a trash can, and proceeded to pee poop. He and his co-workers affectionately referred to it as poop noodle. Edit. Yay. Gold. How do you delete someone else's comment? Finish redditing today. I'm a gay man. I'm well experienced with the anal arts. That said, I still very much wish I had never read this and will drink heavily in hopes to forget it. It was wiener poop. It came out in a thin, long strip. Which is the grossest poop of all. Dated a girl who did amateur porn and cam girl work. Weirdest thing was how much more people would pay for anything involving assholes. Liking paying up to double what they would for regular. Yeah, like why would anyone pay more to add you to the shot? What was it like dating a girl who did porn? I know I couldn't, but I don't think it's necessarily wrong and I'm curious. I can see it. I remember the memes about Ms. Alice for ages because she never showed her butthole, then her sex video leaked. I've told this story before here on Reddit, but here it is. After all the things I experienced working in porn, this one hit my soul the hardest. I was working for a gay fetish wrestling porn company around 2003 called Canam, which also owned a straight fetish wrestling porn company called Matruk. Both companies were owned by a larger distribution company called Marina Pacific, which also owned a gay porn company called Jet Set. Me and my co-worker X, who ended up being one of my best friends, would help out on Jet Set productions here and there, where we met the owner Dave Grohl, like Grohl, who was this overly tanned, grey hair, Hawaiian shirt wearing slime ball. Nice enough guy to us, but you knew who he was 2 seconds into meeting him. So back in the day, gay for pay was still very much a thing. Straight men were sought out to do gay porn, and we would have to pump them full of Viagra and have a TV VCR combo with straight porn hooked to an extension cord so that when the guy gets soft in the other guy's mouth he could jack off and get hard again. Most of these guys were sexual deviants as it was, but the biggest incentive was the pay. $1,500 tops for a scene where you're the bottom. Pun intended. So we're doing this scene where this kid who was a month into turning 18 and still had his braces on his teeth gets fucked by two dudes. Kid does well, the dudes come on him. All is well. Except the kid comes up to me and X. He had heard from Dave that X directed straight porn for Matrook, and Dave had promised him that X could put him in a straight porn if he did gay porn. Which at the time was the biggest lie ever. Because no one crossed from gay to straight porn. No matter who you were. So me and X had to tell him this. And he starts crying. He goes on to say that Dave was trolling gyms looking for hot straight guys and telling them the same thing. If you want to do straight porn you have to do gay porn. Then he would make them stay at his house and give him blowjobs, under the pretense that this is normal. You want to do straight porn? You gotta pay your dues. I never felt so low in my life. What the fuck were we a part of? Me and X told our boss, who then brought it up to the owner of Marina Pacific, who apparently threw a fit. This wasn't the first time this had happened, obviously, but they had enough. I don't know the details of what went down, but Dave lost Jet Set and the rights to his titles. And we put the kid in a straight porn with two chicks. He had a blast. Nice to hear it had a happy ending. Fucking thank you for that ending. I was honestly a little depressed for the kid until the end. I like this one. I'm going to leave out names for obvious reasons, but I saw well-known male porns to miss a facial and instead of cleaning it up with a towel he licked his own semen off of the floor. So he reloaded? Let's just end the thread right here before it snowballs out of control. It's the floor part that disgusting to me. Just picking up markets. I knew a guy that did gay for pay. He was offered $2k to take it like a man, so to speak. He was kinda broke so he went for it, but he didn't prep properly, despite being told numerous times to douche and all that. His words, "I did it, then hot brown lava came out. Please prep properly." I don't understand why some guys just think they can shove their dick in an arsehole without preparing for it first. I've had a guy do that to me once. It was not fun. Friend of mine did a handful of adult movies. She worked for one of the bigger companies in Germany at the time, and said that immigrant porn stars and foreign Eastern European porn stars were treated like absolute dirt. And I'm talking really disgustingly bad. They always had a buffet area way off to the side because the shoots often took 10+ hours a day, and when there were no German female actresses in that shoot, the guys, often dick for hire or free dick, would jizz in on the buffet and piss on some of it as well. Sad part is, they always rehired those guys or used them again because either cheap or free. One time according to her they also just beat the shit out of a girl that refused to do anal. These are the stories that fascinate me. As hot as some of the women are in European porn, I can only imagine how shitty they are treated or how many of them are trafficked. It's sad but interesting. Actual mother-daughter. Mia Malcova's mother went to her first scene to supervise. Wonder if anyone's tried to cast her and her brother together. Just for fun. I don't work in porn, but a buddy I have used to work camera for them, and the grossest thing was specialty porn. Evidently it does not smell good when an actor that clearly hasn't showered in a while then has literal shit mixed in. I mean, it seems a bit redundant to shower before the scat porn. Obligatory not a adult film industry person, but I met one once and he was more than willing to tell me about how gross it was. I was 16 or 17 and flying out to LA with my family for vacation. I got seated in the row behind my parents' siblings on the plane and was next to a young bro type guy. We talked a lot during the flight and he was telling me about how he was a stuntman for some movies and shows. I was impressed with that, and like the stupid teenager I was, I said I'd love to do that too. He then started telling me how tough the show business is, and that he had to do a lot of shitty jobs just to get to where he was. One of those jobs was doing the sound guy stuff in adult movies. As a sound guy, he had to get really close, while staying out of the frame of course. He told me about how bad and shitty the smell was, how shady and fucked up most people were, lots of addicts and trashy people, both on and off camera, and how he was disgusted when bodily fluids and shit accidentally got on him. It's also the first time I heard about fluffers. The picture he painted made me realize just how shitty it must be to be involved in making that stuff. Lol, my parents would occasionally look over because they heard what he was saying. I could tell that my mom was outraged on the inside, but she didn't want to embarrass me by calling the guy out. Edit. A lot of people are asking what a fluffer is, so I thought I'd explain it in an edit. It's a person who works at porn shoots and has the job of keeping the male actor's dick hard in between scenes so he's always ready to go. Basically, they are human Viagra. The word fluff, as in fluff your pillow, means to manipulate it so it's ready to be slept on in that case. I had a friend do the same thing. Sound guy on a porn shoot for extra cash. It was the movie Pirates, the first Ultra HD porn. He said the fluffer thing was what got to him the most, because it was just so mechanical and the guys treated the girls' mouths just as a whole means to end, not end. It makes sense that it would be that way, but I think it really made an impression on him. He didn't do another shoot. Ike. Girls that deep throat tend to vomit a lot of the time. Can confirm from experience. It's all about the angle you do it at. There was an instance involving diarrhea. It was not part of the show. There was corn. Not part of your show maybe. My time to shine. Once I saw a tapeworm come out of her ass. I noped out. The second time was roundworm wrapped around a dude's dick. Thanks. Now I'm thinking about it all over again. Did the worm have a tiny top hat and a monocle? Not a punster, but a common answer was the smell. Also, Adria Ray tweeted that she was mad at people taking pictures of her naked on set, on cell phones, not for the movie. That's not a necessarily dumb thing to complain about. She's getting paid for the film, and having random people posting her naked on social media takes away her control. The answer is always poop. You can check out FUG to see all the horrifying things in porn. I will never check that out. Thank you for informing me. A girl I was on a photo shoot with for a big name gentleman's magazine rhymes with Custler. She was doing a spread eagle photo and we saw brown stuff leaking out of her. She came back from the bathroom and she found a Jurassic tampon or sponge she had shoved up there and forgotten about for months. I have many other stories, but this one stuck with me. Good news I guess is I got a 5-page spread, pun intended. Lol, I quit the industry years ago, but I'll always have this magazine to gross out people when I'm old. I'm eating chicken wings or dubs while reading this thread, yet feel nothing. Is there something wrong with me? You're not eating spicy enough wings. I've heard a story about rectal prolapse. Would not want to be there for that. There's a whole subsection of porn for that, my dude. I worked for a big 90s porn star in 2005, and the first time she told me to bring her to set, carry her bags and kiss her goodbye, just to show everyone a male presence. We drive to the industrial side of East LA and she knocks and a big garage door opens, unveiling a posh red rug with a Harley and a girl bent over the Harley with a yoked out dude behind her. The director finished telling them the scene as I walked in. The girl walks toward me absent-mindedly and farts, letting out an almost orgasmic sound. The guy walks the other way and kisses his boyfriend and says classic gay lisp, "Oh god, I don't know if I can do this shit." Disbelief shattered, all magic lost. The creepiest thing is seeing how high out of their mind some of these girls are. Some of them are so fucking high they can barely stand up straight. Really makes you think about what the hell you're doing. I get really sad when I click on a porno and then it's super obvious the chick is just fucked up out of her mind. Kills the mood and I just sit there feeling bad for her. Anyone else heard John Ronson's The Butterfly Effect about the porn industry? There's a whole story in there about a porn star whose teenage son found her stuff online and all his friends were passing it around at school. That's a worse nightmare right there. I made a throwaway because I posted mommy and craft subs mostly on my main and I don't want the cross contamination. In college, I did put for 2 years. Started off as can work and was scouted by a subscription website. I did a total of 36 shoots, mostly photos, but I've been in 5 videos, all college girl themed. One of these videos, about a month before I quit doing porn, I was working with a male and another female performer. I knew them both, not well, but well enough to know that I wasn't looking forward to this shoot. We get down to business and are doing a screen where I'm straddling the man's face while the other girl rides him and we make out. I'm kissing this other girl like she's my prom date when I feel her tense up and the guy making movements and sounds like he's coming. She jumps off him shrieking about how she didn't agree to a creepy. She then runs over a member of the crew, snatches his water bottle out of his hand, squats, shoves the top up her vagina and squeezes all the water into herself. She then squatted there for a bit. The blast of water into and immediately out of her vagina just splashed all the crew's feet and soaked into the carpet of this hotel room. She stormed out later, and I only got paid for half the shoot because that's all we got done. I left porn not much later. It was the biggest overreaction I'd seen. It's porn. There's gonna be cum in your pussy, on your face. It's just part of the job. Mostly everyone in porn I met was super chill. Difference there is she may not have been on birth control. Or is there things in place to make sure before you do porn you're not gonna get pregnant? Also if she didn't consent to it I'd be pissed off too, so yeah, there's that. There are plenty of good reasons why she is justified in having that reaction, least of which being that it was an aspect of a job she had not agreed to do. Was a paramedic in the late 90s. Went to this part of town that's all strip clubs. Always drinks touching the girls then get fucked up for it. Anyway, we'd see all the hidden spots. The champagne room. The sticky floors are not from champagne. But most sad was the makeup room the girls get ready in. Meth pipes and needles everywhere next to pictures of their kids. Piles of sweaty dollar bills. Bulk packs of unlubed condoms. Vomit stains around the toilets from Boulevard. Many are lesbians that have to give the manager a daily blow just to work. They live a sad life. Not in the film industry, but I do run a kink club. Nothing excessively weird happens that I will witness on my way around, but the utter smell of people in the orgy rooms. I cannot stress how bad the smell is. Imagine the smell of sweaty Balsac X100. It definitely gets overwhelming if you get hit by it. I'm an attorney that briefly worked for an adult video company a few years ago. The company previously had a problem with a particular actress who did a few scenes and then was banned by the company for intentionally biting a guy's penis during shooting. For what reason? Apparently they had a falling out. The guy stole her cocaine or something off set, and she decided to exact revenge. Obviously biting someone's dick in this industry is a big no-no, and she quickly found herself out of work as word of our banning got around. Desperate, she eventually went to rehab for a year, got cleaned up, and the company decided to give her another chance. So for legal reasons, basically to witness any direct evidence in case some shit goes down, I was called in to be on set during the first shoot since her return. I warned her not to pull any shenanigans as I had just a minor concern that she wanted to come back for revenge on the company itself. Anyway, it was a gangbang scene and there were about a dozen other guys lined up as she was being orally and vaginally penetrated as well as jacking 2 other dudes off. As she appeared to reach climax, suddenly I hear simultaneous screams from 3 dudes. To my horror, she forcefully bent the erect penises of the 2 guys she was jacking off and bit down on the guy she was performing oral on. The director yelled what the fuck as crew members erupted in sheer chaos. The girl casually lifted her head off the table that she was lying on and said, "Next time use a serious tag, op," as she winked at me with a grin. Why do we call it adult film industry and not porn industry? EFUKT. For all of your bizarre porn things. Be warned, that site will scar you for life. You won't be able to unsee. Without naming names, my mom's best friend in high school got into porn. She was pretty famous for being able to deep throat John Holmes' monster schlong. She said that she had to coat her throat with Vaseline to do the deep throat stuff. It also made her puke a lot during scenes and that they would bring her a bucket. She had a upchuck bucket for when the deep dick diving was too intense. INB4, I am not a pornster, but my mailman knew this one dude who had a dog who was from the same litter as this one guy who broke down in front of a house once with naked people in it, and he said that one time there was drugs. I clicked on this, can't stop reading, even though I'm really grossed out and want to stop reading. I'm an erotica photographer, I've seen a lot of things but nothing that bad. My first photo shoot ever was to a girl dressed as a baby. She used a massive dildo and a pacifier. Another one started her period and I had to tell her because she didn't realize. That was in my house. I had to clean after. I had to tell a girl she forgot to take off her tampon. That was awkward. Another masturbated furiously with rose petals and it was so violent I got nervous. I'm really new to this, so these are the things that make me really uncomfortable. I'm a lesbian woman, but let me tell you something. I'm really tired of looking at vaginas. In college we did a short film about girls in Silicon Valley and their porn prostitution. Most of them said it was all about anal, which from what I deducted was about the guy coming inside without a rubber so she wouldn't get pregnant. But one girl's baby showed otherwise. We went with one girl who at the time was a minor. 2004 she was at a stripper golf tournament, covered in bruises, where guys would bid on them for charity. And if they won, the girl would ride in the cart and played golf with them. This girl said when they got on the backside of the course away from view, she agreed to do a short film with this dude, who ended up being high up at Apple. He was the anal baby daddy guy. She then showed us a short video on her old Palm Trio phone that had Potato Vision, a warehouse filming location. It looked like a freaking horror film. Blood, shit covered rags, squirt, pee all over everything. The cameraman that was filming a scene had a massive boner, and then after they said cut he ran off to the bathroom. She said there were times they would just beat it while filming just so they could think. When we finished talking to her, I had to ask why she was covered in bruises, and she said it was for a film she did for some Indian Bollywood style movie which she said reminded her of Indiana Jones' Jabba the Hutt scene, where she was chained up and whipped with a large leather strap. She was paid $200. I have pictures of me at the golf tournament and have the film, but it's on VHS and don't have a way to get it off without buying another camcorder.